Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Haley and you're watching Between the Pages. I have a book review for you today, and that is The Wolf and the Crown of Blood by Elizabeth May. So I will preface this book review by saying this book is very dark, very bloody, very gothic, and there are a lot of graphic depictions of violence. So if you are not okay with that, I would say probably stay away from this book, because there were even some things I love Saw, I love Hostel, so graphic depictions of violence don't usually bother me. But there were a couple of scenes in here that I was like, I feel like that was unnecessary and I wish I could unread that. So please know that going in that this is definitely an 18 plus. It's not for the faint of heart. Just, there are a lot of BDSM elements and things like that. There is a full list of trigger warnings in the front of the book, but just know that going in, that even me, there were some scenes that were a little too much for me. So now we're gonna discuss. So we all know that Evander, who is the main love interest, also known as the Wolf, and Bryony, who is the Princess of the Blood. So she has to, basically, the members of her family, basically have to die over and over every 2 weeks to offer their blood to Alexios, who is kind of like the benevolent god ruler over this area. And so Alexios ends up taking her claim away, so it technically makes her an oath breaker. It's very fucking stupid. It's very stupid. The whole thing surrounding the reason Alexios hates Bryony and everything. So he sends Evander to go kill Bryony, and I was like, we all know he's not gonna kill her. Like, this is an adult romantasy. We all know that the assassin character is not gonna kill the main character. They're gonna fall in love and everything. I was like, not surprised. And then there was there's this character named Marigold, and I was like, Marigold, girl, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be at Castle Tree, because there's a character in the Beast of the Briar series whose name is Marigold. And so I just thought that was funny, because I think I read this like right after finishing Broken by Daylight, and I was like, why am I reading a book or 2 books back to back that have side characters with the name of Marigold? I just thought it was funny. And then, you know that gif that says, well, mark me down as scared and horny? That's basically Bryony. Like, she is terrified of the wolf, but like, it also kind of turns her on, and I love it. So that's basically Bryony in a nutshell. And then there was this one point where Evander mentions sunsets, and I think it has to do with like the colors and like how it reminds him of blood and everything, because he weird. I was like, that's not why most people love sunsets, Evander. Just gonna throw that out there. He's a little weirdo, but I love him anyway. And then he mentions that Bryony is like a brat, and he's like, why can't you just be a good girl? And I was like, come here, Evander, I'll be your good girl. Because there are, like, she brats on purpose. So again, there's a lot of BDSM elements in this one. And so she brats to make him mad, so he'll punish her, and she gets off on it. But yeah, I was like, I'll be your good girl, Evander. And then at one point, so Alexios, the benevolent god or whatever of this world or area, kind of has a thing for his spy master. And I was like, am I actually feeling sorry for Alexios? Are you really making me feel sorry for this asshole? I hate when, I don't mind Alexios now, but like in the beginning, I was like, I hate him. But by the end, you become a lot more sympathetic to him, which kind of sucks, because he's not a good guy. And then the whole third act of this book is that now that Evander and Bryony are together, she has to go through 3 trials, which is Althea, her ancestor, which is what she had to do to basically save the world. And the whole setup is like the very end, she has to sacrifice herself for Evander, because Evander and his brother Bastian are supposed to be like the princes of this world, but after the war and their mother's death, they were totally not ready to take the throne. So they let Alexios rule like in their stead, and they've basically been like bound to Alexios and is like his enforcers. And so basically she sacrifices herself for Evander, which makes the world, like the Vale or wherever they are, I forget what the country, city, whatever is called. And so basically she sacrifices herself for Evander. The land accepts her, gives her wings, basically makes her an immortal. And like that was the whole point of the third act. And I was like, because I was kind of mad. I was like, okay, so where are we going with this? What is the point? I don't understand. So you do figure out in the end that it was all just a freaking test. And Alexios apparently is the only one who knows that this is how it'll be able, this is the only way that Evander and Bryony will be able to be together, which unfortunately, now that she's immortal and they have killed her uncle, her sister Theodora is the only princess of the blood left. And so basically she needs to pop out a kid and like continue the line of succession. And so I'm fairly certain that that is where we're headed in the second book, that it is going to be Bastian the Blade and Theodora, because Bastian at one point meets Theodora, like after he's like slaughtered an entire village, and he's kind of sort of like intrigued by her because she's not scared of him like at all. Like she like gets up in his face and is like, I'm not scared of you, like fuck you for doing this. And so he's like kind of interested in it because she's not scared of him and won't back down. So I'm kind of hoping that the Blade and Theodora will be our next couple for the next book, and I really hope there's a pregnancy trope which I know that annoys a lot of people, but I don't mind it. I think it would be really interesting, especially if the Blade was the one who got her pregnant. But we'll see. There's been like nothing about the sequel to this book, which makes me kind of mad. But we'll see. But yeah, that was my review for The Wolf and the Crown of Blood, and I will see you guys later. Bye!